Lawyers are already discussing the Young Thug release date. This is due to Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, putting in work inside of the courtroom, as this is making rappers react in happiness. However, their reactions are also causing their names to go viral, to which law officials are now investigating them inside the case. As it was just reported, the state's team expert in the Young Thug trial interrupted Thug's lawyer to tell the jury that the album cover for his album collab with Future, titled Super Slimy, was meant to taunt rival street teams. In reality, the album cover just shows the symbols of the labels YSL and FBG.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Steele. To the extent that you're asking for context of these, I do have additional context that may be helpful as far as these particular tweets.
Okay.
So the tweet on the left-hand side, so we pull that back up. So this particular image was of note to myself and other investigators, particularly during this time period. Their rival ABG has a hawk logo that they use on their own clothing and identifiers. As you can see on the cover of this, there's a hawk skull with a snake, the symbol for YSL, climbing through the eyes of this skull of a hawk.
Now, this made many reporters make statements telling all rappers to stop reacting to Young Thug so then they do not get investigated. However, this outraged many rappers online, so several of them gave Thug's lawyer Brian Steele their blessings to bring up their rap names and music to help Young Thug get released from jail. As Thug's lawyer Brian Steele would then go down a line shouting out several rappers and their songs that all replaced the letter C with the letter B.
Post Malone, do you know who Post Malone is?
I know who he is.
Have you heard him do that?
I have not.
Okay. Meek Mill, you know who that artist is?
I do.
Have you know that?
No, sir.
Are you familiar with the song Jumped Out the Face by Meek Mill?
I'm not.
And Post Malone, you are familiar with the song
No.
Are you familiar with Juice WRLD?
I know who he is.
Are you familiar with, instead of cooling, booling, BOOLIN? You familiar with that song?
I'm not.
Okay. Trippie Redd, you know who that is?
I know of him.
And do you know the song Bust Down, again, booling rather than cooling? YWN Melly, you know that rapper?
I do.
The song Till the End?
I don't.
Future, you know who that is?
I do.
Absolutely going brazy, you know that?
As this is very beautiful to see, all of the rappers coming together to help out Young Thug, because this makes Young Thug look extremely innocent inside of the courtroom. It shows the jury that you don't need to be a part of the red street team like they are claiming Young Thug is to avoid using the letter C in your music titles and songs. And it's more of a style for music that hooks a viewer's attention to the music, as they are claiming that Young Thug doesn't use the letter C in any of his music titles or songs because he's not allowed to use that letter because he is a part of the red team. However, it's what happened next inside of the courtroom that led to the tweet of, and I quote, "Expect YSL rapper Young Thug's lawyer to push for a mistrial shortly. His lawyers have an edge on the prosecution, which could lead to a strong case for a mistrial." As Young Thug's lawyer would go on to prove why he's the best, and he's definitely worth the millions that Thug is paying him. As Brian Steele had a hunch the police special forces investigator of 10 years is extremely bad at his job and he never even does research. So Brian Steele would go on to expose him in front of thousands of live viewers on the live stream for his lack of research on the team YSL.
Okay.
Now, I'm assuming, I don't want to assume, you went through that entire Tumblr account to educate yourself for your testimony for the jurors. Am I correct?
No, sir. This is the only post from this Tumblr account that I've reviewed.
You didn't look at all of Mr. Williams' Tumblr account?
No, sir.
How did you know to review this one picture?
Well, when the state asked me to review these particular tweets, this is one that was linked within one of the tweets I was asked to review, and I was asked to review this post from that link.
You weren't curious to know what else is on that Tumblr account?
I was not, no.
Well, since you come back, I'm inviting you to look at it if you want to. But every one of those posts has to do with music. Do you realize that?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay.
Now, Young Thug's lawyer was stunned to hear that the investigator actually barely even did his job. He had a hunch, but it was surprising to hear it. Brian would then stand on business and he would challenge the investigator to go home, do more research on YSL and Young Thug, and then come back with an answer.
Do you know, as you sit here, what all the other Tumblr posts deal with?
Objection.
Basis.
It would be speculation because he said he has not
I
reviewed.
sustain the objection.
You do me a favor. If you come back, which I'll call you if you need, I want you to review all that Tumblr, okay?
Sure.
Account. And then you tell the jurors everything else that's on that Tumblr account, okay?
Sure.
And tell them if it has anything other than music-oriented promotion, okay?
Well, I would say even this photo has more than just music promotion.
That's great.
In a court setting, that is one of the most embarrassing things you can do to an investigator. And it's all really now starting to seem like a huge joke and an embarrassment of the police department in Atlanta. They have their main investigator at 10 years not even doing his job of investigating. However, it gets even crazier from here. Thug's lawyer would then go to, weirdly enough, defend the YSL snitch named Trontavious Steven, as Trontavious gave the definition of the word slime 2 weeks ago during trial. The lead investigator believes that this is a lie.
Word slime, what does it mean?
Good question. That's a good question. So, the S is for slug, the L is for love, the I is for I, the M is for me, and the E for everything.
That is the only thing that slime meant to you when you had that tattoo put in your body.
Yes, ma'am, that's what it means to, that's what that tattoo means to me.
Is slime ever used in any other kind of way? As by you or any of the people that...
Like breaking it down?
Yeah.
Like breaking it down how I did?
No, like the meaning of the word slime.
Yeah, no, it's slime.
As the veteran investigator believes that he is lying on the stand and that is not what the word slime means to YSL members. So Brian Steele would then play a song inside of the courtroom. The song was released 5 years ago. It has lyrics saying the exact same thing Trontavious said on what slime means. So Brian Steele would then flat out ask the investigator, did you even do a simple Google search on what this means?
Did you hear that, detective?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Now, when you gave your testimony yesterday about you've never heard anyone describe slime in the way you just heard on Mr. Williams' number 142, did you ever do a Google search?
No, I did not.
Did you know that question was coming?
No, sir.
You had no idea that the state was going to ask you that question?
No, I thought you meant your question.
No. Yesterday on direct exam, you knew that question was coming, right?
I did. I knew the state was going to ask me what slime meant, yes.
And did you do anything in preparation to say, I want to make sure my testimony is accurate?
I did.
But you never bothered to Google music?
As this was the icing on the cake, the investigator now literally looks like he has no idea what he's even doing. If you know how to use Google, you could probably do more research than a 10-year veteran. And with this being the state's best investigator on YSL, Thug's lawyers are going to be pushing for a Young Thug release very soon. But do you believe that this is enough for a mistrial? Because Young Thug's girlfriend, Mariah the Scientist, does believe so. She even went on to reveal what their plans are going to be for when he is free from jail.
Do you think that marriage is the next step for you, Young Thug?
I mean, when he gets out of jail?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think either of us want a jail wedding. Yeah, but I feel like he definitely wants to be married, and I feel like I do too.
Do you ever imagine life outside once he's out?
For sure. We talk about it all day. Okay. All day long. I mean, I feel like being imaginative can help every human being on earth not lose your mind. Mm-hmm. You know, it is like a little slight state of delusion.
The only evidence the investigator truly shared was in some old Young Thug music videos from several years ago. There is some scenes where he is self-snitching for being a part of his street team, throwing up hand signs that could confirm he is a part of the Reds.
Did you see Mr. Williams putting up any identifier
signs within that first few seconds of the video?
I did.
And what was he doing?
He was throwing the B's again, the 2 guns, and he also threw a 5-point star.
In that particular portion at 1:30, do you see Mr. Williams throwing up any,
I did.
and what did he throw up?
He threw up the 2 guns again.
As why this is important is because of the crimes that Young Thug was allegedly a part of. Those music videos were recorded at the same time as those crimes. So with him throwing up the hand signs, you can make some connections that he is a part of his street team at that time. As he would also go on to confirm that there is several videos of Young Thug self-snitching on social media, where he is once again throwing up hand signs, whether it's on Instagram Live or Twitter videos.
Now, have you had the occasion to view any videos with Mr. Williams in which he either himself self-identifies or associates himself either as a member of Rock Crew and or a member of YSL?
I have.
How many videos have you seen?
I don't know the exact number, but a few.
Okay. For the purposes of this testimony today, have you seen 3 specific videos as it relates to this testimony today?
I have.
As yes, this gives confirmation to the jury that Young Thug could be a part of that street life, it's also very weird and concerning on why the prosecutors are also now mentioning other rappers in the music scene, as they would also go on to bring up Lil Wayne, as the prosecutors would ask the investigator on the stand about Lil Wayne's affiliation, including his tattoo.
And are you familiar with who this individual is?
I am.
And who is that?
It's Dwayne Carter.
Okay. And does he have another name that he goes by?
He does.
And what is that?
Lil Wayne.
And are you aware, through any of your knowledge and experience, if Mr. Carter, Dwayne Carter, self-identifies as a member of?
I believe that he does.
Okay. Tell the jury if you need to stand with the stick and point to what those identifiers are within Defense Exhibit 31.
There's a large MOB across his chest, often used particularly by West Coast, but is used across the country. He has 5 red 5-point stars across his chest.
As when you add up all of that evidence, and including the one piece of evidence the YSL snitch gave, which is that YSL does all of their selling at a gas station at 221 Cleveland Avenue, is this truly enough to lock up Young Thug for years? You tell me in the comments.
The gas station at 221 Cleveland Avenue is a location where YSL associates sell.
Are your initials next to number 13?
Yes.
Did anyone force you to put your initials next to them?
No.